Nobody wants to get united. Like, what we gotta do is meet everybody in 149th Street at the bench.
Today I want to talk to you guys about a little piece of advice I see older graffiti artists give to newer graffiti artists. And I'm gonna want your guys' opinion on this topic, alright? So let me know in the comments down below, what do you think about the advice? Practice in the books first and then hit a wall once you're no longer toy. To be honest, I see the pros and cons of this advice, right? There are certainly some good aspects of this, and there's some not so good aspects of this as well. The advice is a little bit misled in many cases. When I see other people give this advice, they don't necessarily give it for the right reasons. Acting almost as if practicing in the books is going to ensure that the work they do on a wall is bound to come out good because, well, they already know what they're doing in books. And this isn't necessarily true. You guys have heard me talk about this many times in my videos, but the quality of your art depends on three major factors. And this is your knowledge and ability to use the elements of art, your knowledge of the art form's specific fundamentals, and how good are you with the techniques for the tools you're using? Now, the techniques aspect of this is kind of a weird one because it's both the least and was arguably one of the most important factors as far as your skill level is concerned. Let me give you an example. Let's take a new artist who's just starting to draw. And this artist, they don't know any techniques with pencil. Pencil, of course, being one of the most, if not the most common tool amongst all artists. And if you can't even use a pencil, well then that's a massive red flag. As once again, the pencil is kind of standard amongst all art forms. And this is also assuming that they have no other knowledge of techniques with any other mediums, like oil paint, watercolor, digital, or anything else you put in their hands. That artist isn't gonna be all that good. Now let's talk about the opposite side of the spectrum. So professional artists taking on a new medium, they can adapt to new techniques really rapidly, so in no time at all, even though they may not be comfortable with the new medium, they'll get the techniques down pretty quick. So being bad with a medium doesn't necessarily make them a bad artist at all. And in fact, it would be ignorant to think of them as a bad artist just because they can't use a specific medium, despite being proficient with others. Now the part I agree with the most about this specific advice is the fact that if you're doing graffiti illegally, which once again, as I always say, I never promote doing illegal graffiti here on the channel. If you're doing illegal graffiti, it doesn't really make sense to sacrifice your freedom and potentially your life for a really crappy toy tag. Like, let me tell you what, it is not worth sacrificing your freedom over that crap. You're gonna look back at the hand styles you've done and laugh at yourself with how ridiculously bad they are. Like, sure, you look at it and you think they're dope now. You think it's the sickest thing you're capable of. And I know this because you guys hit me up in DMs on Instagram telling me, yo, John, I made this real sick, nasty hand style, and I can tell they've been doing graffiti for like less than a year, and this is probably one of their first hand styles. That's not the kind of thing you really want to risk your freedom for. So I definitely agree and get that advice when it comes more so from a place like that. When the advice is more so about don't risk your freedom until you actually know what you're doing and you decide that this is what you want to do. I think that's a much more sensible way to look at it and a much more valid way to give that specific advice. But say we're talking to somebody who's not putting anything at risk at all. Maybe they just want to do murals and do legal walls. That's perfectly fine. And I think for them, that advice makes no sense. That advice is completely ill-advised. And these people should hop on walls immediately. I don't care if you literally just started today. I'd say hop on a wall instantly. Why? Because, like I previously said, the quality of the work you produce is based off of three major factors: art form specific fundamentals, technique, and elements of art. So the sooner you can get the techniques down with cans, then the better off you're going to be. And the longer you prolong that for no kind of reason at all, the worse off you're gonna be. You don't want to prolong learning things like that. Things like that are really important to your work. But techniques are still something you can practice and get good at even before you've learned the art form specific fundamentals or the elements of art. You can still get good at can control. You can still get good at cutting your lines, flares, you know, making the line real nice and skinny, getting a nice clean sharp line. Like, you can still get good at all those things without being good at anything else. The same way your more traditional artists can get good at blending, drawing lines, and outlining their art before they ever get good at any actual fundamentals. So my advice at the end of the day is hop on walls as soon as possible if you're not taking any risks with graffiti. There's no point you shouldn't do that. And if you are taking risks in graffiti, which once again I don't promote, I would recommend making a makeshift wall at home and practicing can control on that. Because once again, there's still really no reason in order to stunt your growth and stunt your learning early on. But dudes, that's my 2 cents on the topic. Let me know what you guys think about it in the comments down below. I'd love to start up a conversation conversation, a little bit of a dialogue in order to kind of get different points of view on the topic. But with all that said, that's pretty much it for today's video. So if you guys want more graffiti content, check out the best how to do graffiti tutorials right here on the top. We're actually coming out with a how to shade tutorial, two of them actually, two how to shade tutorials coming out really soon. I'm still working on some stuff, but those are going to be some really good tutorials. So if you're watching this video later, feel free to check back here in order to go ahead and see that. And this video here on the bottom, well, that's just more graffiti content for you. So if you enjoyed today's video, remember to hit the like button, it helps out a bunch. And if you're new here, subscribe, become part of the smartest graffiti community anywhere online. As always, man, I want to thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you guys next week, but until then, peace.